Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are doing something very different in math. We are not going to be using our SWON books at all. Hopefully before you started this video, you already watched another YouTube video that your teacher assigned to you. That video talked about something called King Henry Died by Drinking Chocolate Milk. If you have not watched that video, please stop this one and find the other assigned YouTube video for the day. Okay, we're going to get started. Today, I would like for you to see if you can find some paper to write on. Could be scratch paper, lined paper, plain paper, the back of an old worksheet, just something to write on. We're going to be starting our unit that's about measurement, and we're just going to talk about some basic measurements before we get started. Okay, so in the video, you saw something called the metric system. Okay. The metric system, is really a neat system. It is used by every country in the world except our country. Okay, our country uses something called the U.S. customary system. So in our country, in the U.S., if I was measuring length in our country, we commonly use inches. We use feet. We use something called yards. That's not as common for you guys, but if you've ever seen those giant rulers, they're usually wood and they're really tall, probably up to your waist. That's called a yardstick. So this is what we use for length. If we were going to measure weight in the United States, we usually use pounds and ounces. Okay, we also measure something called volume. Volume is how much liquid is inside a container. So if you bought like a container of juice or some soda, it's how much liquid went inside that container. Or if you're baking with your mother or your father and you pour something in, we talk about that. So in America, we use something called a gallon. You've probably seen that when you buy milk, a gallon of milk. Or there's something called a quart. You could buy a quart of milk also. Okay. We also have cups. Okay. We also have ounces as well, but it's in a different capacity over here. So there is more measurements, but I just want you to kind of see all these different ones that we use. Well, the rest of the world uses the metric system that you saw in King Henry Died by Drinking Chocolate Milk video. The great thing about the metric system is it's one system for each type of measurement. It's really only having to memorize one system where we're going to have to memorize 3 different systems. Now, not only do we have to memorize our 3 U.S. systems, because everyone else uses the metric system, we also have to memorize that. Okay, so what you saw in the video with King Henry Died by Drinking Chocolate Milk is the one metric system. So I'm going to start by titling King Henry Died by Drinking Chocolate Milk. Now, there is a lot going on here. The most important thing is the B. The B is what we call our base measurement, our main measurement. So for length in the metric system, they use something called meters. Okay, so we measure using inches, feet, and yards. We also use miles, but they use something called meters for their length. Okay, now when meters is abbreviated, you'll see meters be just a lowercase m. So that's their length measurement. Okay, when they are using weight, they use something called grams. So they only really have one weight word Where we have pounds and ounces, they just have one word called grams. Okay, when grams is being abbreviated and your problems, when you're seeing that be used, you'll see it just be used as a G. So just a simple G. Okay, when they are measuring volume, we have gallon, quart, cups, there's even more. They just have something called liters, that's all. All they use are liters, which makes it really easy to just focus on one thing. Okay, so liters. Now when liters is abbreviated, it's a capital L. And I believe the reason they do that is if they just put a lowercase l, it would look like a 1. So they have meters, grams, and liters. Okay, there are a lot of other parts of measurements. So this is the base. Now just like in our number system, as we go to the left, it has a greater value. As it goes to the right, it has a smaller value. So just in a number, if I was to give you a number, and I'm just going to get red because I don't want you to write this down. If I gave you the number 5555, which is 5,555, the one on the left has the greatest value, just like here, and the one on the right has the smallest value, okay? So these stand for different things. The K stands for kilo, the H for hecto, the D for deca, the other D for deci, the C for centi, and the M for milli. The nice thing is we only really need to worry about 3 of them. The only 3 that we're going to ever see is kilo. We will also see centi, and we will also see milli. Those are the 3 that we're going to be focusing on. You've probably heard of those before. I put cent, centi, a centimeter, a millimeter. Okay, you've probably heard that. Maybe a kilogram or a kilometer. So we wouldn't say kilometer, we'd say kilometer. So you might have already heard those words being used. Okay, the way that we're going to be doing this then is we're going to be moving decimals to change the value. So again, I'm going to get my red out because I want to show you what this looks like with just regular numbers. If I have a decimal and the decimal's here, think about that being worth like maybe 5. If I move the decimal to the right and fill in my empty spots, do you see how my value went from 5 to 500? But if I had a decimal and it was here again, and instead I moved it this way, now I have 0.5. My value went smaller. So we're going to be using this same idea to make some conversions now. Okay, so I have some. I just am going to have you watch for a moment. I know you took some notes, but now I just want you to kind of relax and watch. I'm going to move my notes and try some. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to try is 9 kilometers equals how many meters? Okay, well, how would I do this? Well, I notice it's the metric system, so every time I see the metric system, I'm going to say, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, what am I dealing with here? For this problem, I'm dealing with kilometers. Ooh, that's over here. And they want me to move kilometers to M. M is here. M's a base measurement. M is my meters. You're going to have to kind of remember that your base is meters, liters, grams. So they want me to move something from kilometers to meters. Well, how many spaces am I moving that? Well, I'm moving not there. That would be 1. That would be 2. They want me to move it 3 spaces to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 9 I'm going to put a decimal because it doesn't have one. Whenever it doesn't have a decimal, you add it to the end. And I'm going to move that decimal 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. So I have, and I filled in my empty spots with 0, 9 kilometers is equal to 9,000 meters. 9,000 meters. Okay, let's try another one. All right, this time I'm gonna have a little bit of a different measurement. And this time I'm gonna have 400 centimeters is equal to how many meters? Okay, again, the second I see that I'm dealing with metric system, I'm gonna jump right in and go, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so my base measurement in this problem is meters. That's what I'm dealing with. Okay, this time they want me to go from 400 centimeters to meters. So they want me to start at centimeters and they want me to go to meters. So how many spots did I move? I moved 1, 2 to the left. Okay. So I need to take my number, which is 400. It doesn't have a decimal, so I'm going to add 1 to the end. And we're going to move it 1, 2 to the left, just like this was moved 2 to the left. So it's not there anymore. So my 400 now turned into 4.00, which really is the same as just 4. Okay, you ready to try some with me? Okay, if you have your old note page and that's the only sheet of paper you have, just use that. Or you can grab a new sheet of paper if you have one, and let's try some. Okay, so I have my green pen, which means I want you to go with me. Okay, our first problem is we're going to try 9 liters equals blank milliliters. Okay, and remember liters is this, capital L, so it looks like a L. When you write milliliters, they usually just make it a lowercase. Okay, but I notice instantly this is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, in this problem, my base measurement is liters. That's what I'm talking about here, is my liters. Because my base measurements are always going to be meters, liters, or grams. Okay, so they want me to go from liters to milliliters. Milliliters is over here. So they want me to start at liters and go 1, 2, 3 spaces. They want me to move it 3 spaces. Okay, so let's take our number, 9. It doesn't have a decimal, so let's add 1 at the end. And we're going to move 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3. So that's where it is now. And we have some empty spots, so they need to be filled in. So 9 liters is the same as 9,000 milliliters. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this time we're going to try 18 centimeters equals how many millimeters? Millimeters. Okay. So I automatically see that I'm talking about meters, which is the metric system. So I'm going to say King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, my base measurement is meters. Sorry, I'm writing really small right there. But this time I'm going from centimeters to millimeters. So I'm going from here to there. So even though my base measurement is meters, I'm not using that. I'm going from centimeters to millimeters. So I moved 1 spot to the right. Okay, so let's take our number. It doesn't have a decimal, so let's add 1 here. And we're gonna move 1 spot to the right. Right there. So I can say 18 centimeters is equal to 180 millimeters. Okay, let's try another one. Ready? Okay, 10,000 meters is equal to how many kilometers? Okay, so I'm not squished, I'm gonna do it down here. Okay, I notice I see meters, which I know is a base measurement. Meters, liters, and grams are base measurements. So I have King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And my base measurement is meters. So for this problem, they actually want me to go from meters to kilometers. Not kilometers, kilometers, which would be over here. So they want me to start at meters and go here, which means I'm going to start and go this way. 1, 2, ooh, I went 3, but look which direction I went, to the left. Okay, so let's take our number. My number is 10,000. Let's add a decimal to the end, and we needed to move 1, 2, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So my answer went from 10,000 to 10.000, which is really just 10. Okay, if you're not feeling great with this lesson, I want you just to practice, but I want you to realize we're going to be practicing all unit on this. I am going to put up a worksheet that if you want to work on, you're welcome to get a separate piece of paper and just try some of these. Just pause the video and try some of them. So here's the worksheet. You don't need to do all of them, but if you'd like to try some of them, I would pause the video, work on them, and then in a moment, I'm going to put up the answer key. So this is just for those of you who want to practice a few. So if you just want to see, wow, can I do this on my own? Here's a worksheet. Try a few. Stop the video, do it on your scratch paper, see what you come up with. And now I'm going to actually show the answers, so maybe you can grade the ones you worked on. And here is your answer key. See how many of them you were successful with. If you weren't successful, again, don't worry, we're going to be practicing this all unit. All right, boys and girls, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.